title Artistic Momentum, The Courage to Keep Creating. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. I want to begin with a simple question, one that may seem ordinary, but carries extraordinary weight. When was the last time you felt truly moved by something you created? Not consumed, not watched, not scrolled past. Created. For some of you, that moment might have been yesterday. For others, maybe years ago. And for some, perhaps you're still waiting for that moment to arrive. Today, we're here to talk about something powerful, something often misunderstood, something that quietly shapes the course of creative lives. Artistic momentum. Not talent, not inspiration, not even success. Momentum. Because here's the truth most people don't tell you. Artistic success is not built on bursts of brilliance. It is built on the ability to keep going. The myth of inspiration. We live in a culture that romanticizes creativity. We imagine artists as people struck by lightning, suddenly inspired, effortlessly producing masterpieces in a state of divine flow. But that's a myth. In reality, creativity is often quiet, messy, frustrating. It shows up when you're tired, when you're unsure, when you're doubting yourself. Artistic momentum is what carries you through those moments. It's what makes you sit down when you don't feel like it. It's what makes you try again after something fails. It's what transforms ideas into reality, not once, but over and over again. Motion creates emotion. There's a simple principle that governs not just physics, but creativity. Objects in motion stay in motion. The same is true for artists. When you create regularly, even imperfectly, you build a rhythm, a flow, a sense of forward movement. And that movement fuels motivation. But when you stop, when you hesitate, when you wait for the right moment, momentum fades, and restarting becomes harder than starting. The enemy of momentum. So what stops us? It's not lack of talent. It's not lack of time. It's something much more subtle and much more dangerous. Fear. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of not being good enough. And perhaps the most paralyzing fear of all, fear of being seen. Because to create is to reveal something of yourself, your thoughts, your voice, your perspective. And that vulnerability can feel terrifying. So we hesitate, we overthink, we delay, we tell ourselves, I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow turns into next week turns into next year. And before we know it, momentum is gone. Perfection is the silent killer. Let me tell you something that might set you free. Perfection is not your goal. Perfection is the enemy of momentum, because perfection demands certainty and creativity thrives in uncertainty. Perfection says, don't start until it's flawless. Momentum says, start now and figure it out as you go. Perfection freezes you. Momentum frees you. The power of small steps. We often think momentum requires big actions, but in reality, it's built on small, consistent steps. Writing one page, sketching one idea, recording one take, trying one new approach. These small actions may seem insignificant in isolation, but together they create movement, and movement creates progress. Discipline over motivation. Here's another truth. You will not always feel motivated. In fact, most days, you won't. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. It's creating when you're uninspired. It's continuing when the results are uncertain. And over time, discipline builds momentum. And momentum makes discipline easier. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you build. Every time you create, you prove something to yourself. I can do this. I can improve. I can continue. And those small victories accumulate. They create belief. Not blind belief, but earned belief. The role of failure. Let's talk about failure. Because if you're serious about building artistic momentum, you must become comfortable with failure. Not tolerate it, not avoid it, embrace it. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Every failed attempt teaches you something. Every mistake refines your craft. Every setback strengthens your resilience. And most importantly, failure keeps you moving. The courage to continue. Artistic momentum requires courage, not the loud, dramatic kind, but the quiet, persistent kind. The courage to try again. The courage to share your work. The courage to keep going when no one is watching. Because let's be honest, most of your creative journey will happen in obscurity. No applause, no recognition, no guarantees. Just you and your commitment to the process. Creating your environment. Momentum doesn't happen by accident. It's shaped by your environment. The people you surround yourself with, the habits you build, the space you create for your work. Ask yourself, does your environment support your creativity or distract from it? Do your habits move you forward or hold you back? Momentum thrives in intentional environments. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need to create for 10 hours a day. You don't need to produce something extraordinary every time. What you need is consistency, because consistency builds rhythm, and rhythm builds momentum, and momentum leads to results. The long game. Artistic momentum is not about quick wins. It's about the long game. It's about showing up again and again, long after the excitement fades. It's about trusting the process, even when results are slow. It's about believing that your work matters, even when no one else sees it yet. Your unique voice. There is something you need to hear. Your voice matters, not because it's perfect, not because it's polished, but because it's yours. No one else sees the world the way you do. No one else has your perspective, and momentum is what allows that voice to emerge, to evolve, to be heard. Breaking through resistance. Resistance will always be there. It will tell you you're not ready. This isn't good enough. What will people think? But resistance loses power when you take action, because action disrupts doubt. Action builds momentum. The first step. If you take nothing else from today, take this. Start. Not when you feel ready, not when you feel confident, not when conditions are perfect. Start now. Start small. Start imperfectly. Because momentum doesn't come before action. It comes from action. A final thought. Years from now, you won't regret the things you tried. You'll regret the things you didn't, the ideas you held back, the projects you postponed, the voice you silenced. So don't wait. Create. Move. Build momentum. Because in the end, artistic momentum is not just about creating art. It's about creating a life of expression, a life of growth, a life of courage. And that is a masterpiece worth pursuing. Thank you.